Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's your brother Yarash Amar from the GMS Champaign, Illinois branch. Before all things, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Alright, I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that's pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Alright, Shalom. And I'm going to play two videos. And this first one is from this guy called Dennis Meadows. All right, which this is supposed to be, an American scientist, all right, some Edomite, but his whole thing is, depopulating the earth. And then what you hear that a lot, all right, from the elites, all right, is that what the earth is it doesn't have enough resources, all right, to sustain everybody, and it has to be a mass depopulation. But then you look at their actions, and they're purposely, depleting the resources from the average everyday human being. All right, they're hoarding to their self all the mass majority of things. All right, food, seeds, all right, water, all these things. All right, to sustain life, you see them hoarding it amongst the 1%. All right, but in the same breath, they saying, hey, we ain't got enough for all you people. Well, they hold 99% of the wealth. So before I play this video, I'm gonna grab this right here. This is 1 Timothy 6:20. It says, "O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings, oppositions of science, falsely so called." So yeah, the word science means knowledge. All right. So when you listen to these Edomites and you listen to their talking points, all right, and you listen to their philosophies and their train of thought, right? They present it as if they're coming from a higher point of intelligence, when really it's nothing but a facade. All right, these people are working through the energy and the vibration of Satan. All right, they appear to be wise, but they're really leading the whole world into destruction, man. All right, so let's listen. And I believe this dude, about maybe almost 20 years ago, he had got like a prestige award in Japan. I had looked into his name before I did this video. So he's somebody who's uplifted in the world as, somebody everybody should listen to, as if he has the answers, man. What Kanye say? You ain't got the answers, Sway. This nigga ain't got it, man. All right, and what he's portraying out here is gonna eventually lead the elites to causing all hell across the world, man, because they're gonna move on these type of agendas very soon, which they already are.
In one way or another, we are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that.
And real quick though, that's a lie. All right, the Lord said, I made you to multiply and be fruitful. All right, I was watching another elder brother on this. He went into this clip also, what actually inspired me to do it. But hey, one of his points was, hey, the Lord said the Lord didn't put a limit on human growth in the world, man. All right, that's something that Esau, Edom, the devil's trying to do, man.
I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way. Peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy, but it means that conflict isn't solved through violence, through force, but rather in other ways. And so that's what I hope for. That
pretty much. Hopefully they don't gotta go door to door slaying you niggas, all right, to lower the population. Hopefully they can get it through your food, all right, through your medicine, through the pharmaceutical companies, all right, through the jab, all right, with all these V's, the Axlines, you know what I'm talking about, brother, all right, through that juice. Hopefully they can kill your ass off, without you noticing, and they can dwindle the numbers down of society. Right? It's basically what he's saying in a roundabout nice way.
We can, I mean, the planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. That's, unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. So, but if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence. So we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. I mean, these are
it's a load of
pretty
shit.
Pessimistic hopes, but I mean, that's what lies ahead.
And that look, that's what lies
The
ahead.
all-new unstoppable.
That's what Hey, so he's letting you know, point blank, period, that a great depopulation is about to come onto the planet Earth. All right, so let me grab this in the book of 2nd Esdras 5:1. It says, "Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number." All right, so a lot of death is finna hit America's shores, man. And we keep warning you, we keep telling you, hey, that the devil is about to come down on you niggas, man. All right, he's gonna start with you niggas. All right, he's gonna start with you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, when it's time for this devil to bring the population down, he's gonna start at you Israelites, man. It says, "And the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith." All right. Verse 2, "But iniquity shall be increased above that which is now seest, or that which thou hast heard long ago." See, so this day, according to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, all right, hey, alas, for that day is great. All right, it's like none other. All right, this is Jacob's trouble, man. All right, so, hey, the Lord has something real, fierce about to be unleashed on the planet Earth. And we keep telling you, hey, you people who ain't right with the Heavenly Father, you're finna be open up to all this, man. The Lord is about to come down upon all you niggas, man. All right, and he's gonna use Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, to do it. All right, we keep telling y'all, man. And then you got niggas like Charleston White saying that this nigga just say that the white man, the so-called white man, is the only ally of you niggas, man. That's the only friend we have in this world. You got to be out your goddamn mind, man. All right, that's why the scriptures say pity. So like, I'm just gonna grab it. I don't want to butcher it since I said it. Let me grab it real quick. Alright, so here it is, Zechariah 11:5. It says, "Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty." And when you see Esau Edom, that's exactly what he does. All right, what was it? I believe they said 1 million. I might be wrong on the number. It's been a while since I looked at it, but 1 million Americans, I believe, or it might be nationwide, that perished to the jab. All right, and you don't see nobody locked up behind that shit, man. All right, it says, "And they will sell them. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich." It says, "And their own shepherds pity them not." So the people who are the men who Jake look at as a leader, or a spokesman, all right, for niggas, they leading you right to your damn destruction, man. All right, we keep, but you go ahead, you keep listening to those niggas, man. All right, and they gonna keep sending you to your death. All right, Pharaoh. you know, polite, all them niggas who, hey, in that conscious community, all right, who blaspheme against the holy scriptures. Hey, you see the end of those niggas, man. So hey, y'all keep following those niggas of the world, man. All right. But as you can see, all right, this devil, he's gearing up for war against you Israelites, man. All right, I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna play the next video. This is Revelation 6:4. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red." All right, hey, representing who? Esau, Edom. All right, the red man. Which, when you go into the word Edom, it literally translates to red. All right, Esau translates to wasted away. All right, because he's has no pigmentation. All right, that's why he's a pink man, because you can see his blood from his skin. It's translucent. It says, let me go back. Verse 4, and it says, "And there went out a horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth." All right, and that's what this devil's about to do, man. Since he's been in rulership, he's been raging war everywhere he's been at. All right, so it has been no peace in the earth, but it's about to intensify 100 times more. It says, "And they shall kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword." So that's what he came to do, man, to lay judgment upon the planet Earth. All right, the Lord is using this devil, all right, to enact vengeance on the planet Earth. So let me play this from old Kill Gatesy.
One issue that really grabbed me as urgent were issues related to population.
In 1998, Dr. Zabin became the founding director of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population Control.
Dr. Zabin became the founding director of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population Control. So we see a lot of things that are going very well, things like reducing childhood death and
And we live in a society where these type of things can get said on national stages and don't nobody blink an eye. Right? That's how you know that wickedness has consumed the planet Earth, man. All right, iniquity upon iniquity. All right, because this is that he just said that shit like it was just, just rolled off his damn tongue. All right, because the American people are so damn stupid. All right, they don't even take heed to nothing, man. All right, especially you niggas, man. All right, all these things are going around in the world and on the nigga mind right now. What's trending for a nigga right now? Free Little Dirk, a Little Dirk trial, man, a fucking murderer, man. You niggas are stupid, man. Lord is gonna kill you niggas.
We've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could look.
All right, the very man who was pushing the jab, all right, he says the way he wants to depopulate the earth is through the jab, man. And people were running down to take it. They said 80% of Americans took the C jab, man. You people are crazy, man. All right, even you other Israelite camps, all right, ISUPK, who told your congregation they were stupid for not getting it, man. The Lord has you niggas deceived, man. Anybody following those dudes, hey, you better really examine what the hell is going on, man. Hey, because they're about to lead your ass to a burning building, as Martin Luther King said he led his people into by trusting in the damn devil, man. Yeah, here you are, you speak out against the devil all the time, and then you tell the congregation that it's safe to take his jab, which you don't know what the fuck was in it, man. All right, you people are crazy, man. All right, but the Lord, he's using these devils, all right, to get at the nations, man, to get at the world. All right, the Lord uses nations as a sword, all right, to judge other nations, all right. Hey, part of the curses was what? I will send your enemies against you. All right, and who's the main enemy of Israel? The Edomites. All right, the so-called white race. Let me grab this real quick. Psalm 17:13, it says, "Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right. So the Lord uses the so-called white man as his sword. All right. And to prove who the wicked of the world is, all right, we just go to the book of Job. All right, 9th chapter, 24th verse. Which brothers know this, but hey, we always got new listeners. All right, this is what they would call Hebrew Israelite 101. All right, use one of some of the first scriptures you get broken down to you. All right, Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, so when you look at the ruling class, nation of people that hold the most power on the earth, who is it? The so-called white man. And at the head of that, all right, you have the so-called Jewish people over there, right? All right, Amalek, the small hats. All right, that's who truly is at the head of all this, man. Which they're Edomites as well. All right, they're the chief house of Esau. So I'm gonna bring it back. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And when it says he covered the faces of the judges thereof, all right, that's speaking on economism. All right, when this devil went around the whole world painting the prophets, all right, whitewashing every damn thing, man, painting the prophets and the old pictures of what the Messiah looked like. All right, what the apostles looked like. All right, what the angels were depicted as. All right, he painted it in the likeness of being so-called white men. All right, when you go back to Georgia and you look at the ancient icons, all right, they look like Negroes, so-called Negroes. All right, but hey, he covered the face. This is the wicked, man. All right, this is what brothers been telling you and warning you about.
Or that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The problem is that the population is growing the fastest where people are less able to deal with it. So it's in the very poorest places that you're going to have a tripling in population by 2050. And so their ability to feed, educate, provide jobs, stability, protect the environment in those locations mean they're faced with an almost impossible problem. Here we can see.
Yeah, all right, so pretty much, let's get you niggas first, the ones who you the poor. We need to eradicate the poor, right? Which is you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for the most part. All right, that's what they mean. When the C jab was going about, what were they telling you? That they needed to hit the poor neighborhoods, all right, because they were worse off. All right, they needed to be they needed help first. All right, they were pushing that juice on our people first before anyone else. Why was that? When niggas ain't never been first for nothing. All right, but all of a sudden, it's all about the so-called black man health and the so-called black woman health, the so-called Hispanic man health. All right, all of a sudden, it's about the benefit of these people who, we make policies and laws to deteriorate them, all right, to destroy them. But all of a sudden, out the kindness of these devils' heart, they care, man. You got to be a goddamn fool. Revelation 12:12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. All right. So this devil's about to come with heavy wrath, man. It said because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Yeah, because Yahweh Shah is back on his way, man. The Lord, he knows that the Lord is about to make a return, and he's quickly trying to put his agenda and plan, all right, in play.
A chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? And what the developing world does not need is more children.
And I think that was the biggest.
And why you think it's abortion clinics every damn where, man? All right, I did a lesson about a few months ago, maybe a year ago, and the leading cause of death in 2025 was abortions. All right, I believe it was 73 million. All right, 73 million, man. All right, so you could see the mindset of what he pushed on the people. He's got everybody thinking like him. All right, he's got everybody, just being a goddamn murderer. All right, he's turned especially the women of our nation, he's turned them into murderers, and to accept it and be cool with it too, man. All right, this place gotta go, man. All right, let me grab this real quick. I believe it's in Proverbs. Yeah, Proverbs 12 and 26. It says, "The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them." So the Israelites, man, we're better than these other nations, man. But living under the rulership of these heathens, man, we start to take on their ways. We get seduced by their train of thought, and we start to think as them. And that's what the elect is, ridding themselves of, purifying themselves in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because the whole world is in a state of constant war, death. All right. And they believe that this is the right way of life, man. Isaiah 5 and 20 reads woe to them that call good evil and evil good. All right, roughly paraphrasing. So you're seeing the end results of living under a fucking devil, man. And this way is not conducive to life.
To Bill and me when we got into this work, as we asked ourselves, of course, the same hard-nosed question you'd ask, which is, if you get into this work and you start to save these children, will women just keep overpopulating the world? And thank goodness the converse is absolutely true.
This is a very important question to get right, because it was absolutely key for me. When our foundation first started up, it was focused on reproductive health. That was the main thing we did, because I thought, population growth in poor countries is the biggest problem they face. You've got to help mothers who want to limit family size have the tools and education to do that. That's the only thing that really counts. Is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion.
All right, yeah, so this is Satan, man. All right, this is Satan. I'm going to end it right there. Hey, Lord willing, this was edifying for the elect's sake, who we endure all things for. So with that, I'm going to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Akim Shalom, man. Keep pushing. We almost up out of this bitch.